Warzone dropped a few days ago and people are slowly learning a lot of what's on offer, but there's still a handful of things that I think may not be relatively all that known. Some things ranging from hidden benefits to free gear that you can access for doing simple things. I want to discuss with you 15 things today you may not know about Warzone to give you a little heads up on this stuff that can be beneficial to your play and just to your overall experience with Warzone Battle Royale or Plunder. That said, let me know your thoughts down below. Is there anything that you think people don't know much about? If so, feel free to share, and as well, make sure you hit the subscribe button, stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone on a daily basis. But anyways, let's jump into it. Let's start with some relatively simple stuff that people usually breeze by, but that being the training. When you first load up Warzone, you're prompted with this enter training screen, but while you may jump into it quickly, you may miss in the corner of that the fact you actually can get 2 items for completing both training exercises, just for simply that. The first one runs you through the basic mechanics like looting, buying items, using armor plates and the likes, and it's relatively simple and overall just a top-down guide to the basics and to get you ready for battle. But when you complete that, you'll get a domino skin called the Battle Ready skin. You may not notice it, or if you're like me and get annoyed by the green new icons, you'll likely have just breezed by it without thinking much of it. But a uniform is one thing, but another is an actual weapon blueprint, something you can use and see in-game as visible customization to you, the player. There is one item on offer that isn't earned immediately. You do have to go an extra step to get, this being to play the Battle Royale practice run, which sees you playing 20-some bots in Karst River Quarry and a shortened match experience. Now, the bots are seemingly on recruit and can easily be taken down in one try, roughly around maybe say 5 to 10 minutes. But once you do this, you'll end up earning the Stiff Arm EBR blueprint, this coming equipped with a compensator, F-Tac, lightweight stock, 15-round mags, and Ranger foregrip. As always, this transfers from Warzone to MP to Spec Ops, that shared progression for all of it. So you get some free stuff here just by doing the tutorials. And talking more free stuff, there's actually a customization bundle for a certain subset of players. This dealing with exclusive gear from PlayStation Plus. Now, it really isn't advertised all that much if you play on PlayStation 4, but you can actually get a free set of gear just for simply having that membership. Warzone is free to play for all players, no membership required for PlayStation 4 and as well PC, but on Xbox, you do need a gold membership. But for the PlayStation equivalent, the players that already have Plus for that PlayStation player base, they're rewarded a little bit further by getting a free bundle. Now, this comes with the Yegor Track Star skin, the Showstopper Model 680 blueprint, the Skill Track 56 watch, the Shredded Weapon charm, the Covert Operation calling card, a double XP token, and if you don't have him already, the unlock for Yegor, mainly being for those that didn't have the full game and instead are just downloading Warzone for the very first time with a membership. But that's cool and all, and is a nice little bonus, but like we said, it's not really laid out how you can actually get it all that well. To gain access to this, you have to simply go to the Modern Warfare page on the PlayStation Store, head to the bottom where it showcases add-ons, where those are selectable, and then from there, you can select this new PlayStation Gear Pack where you can download it for absolutely no charge. Next, let's talk about a setting that most players should be utilizing, but not a lot actually do, that being the Contextual Tap behavior for your use and reload mechanics. Now, whenever you go and pick up items, by default, you have to hold your button to pick up. So while in actuality, it might not be that much of response time from holding it down to when you actually pick up that item and put it in your inventory, in a Battle Royale and especially landing hot, those split seconds can be the difference between life and being sent to the gulag. But with Contextual Tap, it's something that you just simply have to tap your pickup button, not hold it in. So this is definitely very nice for picking things up on the fly, being a little bit quicker with everything and getting things in your inventory faster, but there is also a downside to it that you do have to realize, which again, not many players may recognize. That being the fact that if you're in vehicles or something, say a helicopter, this has happened quite a few times to my squad, the button is then prioritized to the use or interact feature. So things like getting into a helicopter, if you're in midair and try to reload, if you just simply tap it like you normally would, you're gonna fall out of the helicopter. In situations like that, you then have to hold to reload, whereas you'd have to hold to exit. So it kind of flips things around, but can be advantageous in most scenarios. So utilize that lesser known setting here. Next, I want to talk about some of the contracts and what they have in terms of some more so hidden benefits. This being the bounty contracts as well as then the intel contracts. Now, both of these could seem tedious. They could be something that take you out of the way that you don't really want to interact with. You just want to make sure that nobody's sneaking up on you and nobody's really hunting you down so that you have the best chance for survival. But in the case of, say, bounty contracts, these will often showcase the closest squad to you and a member of that squad when you pick them up. So this is incredibly helpful at all times, but especially helpful if you land in, say, a secluded area early game, or if you want to know where a player player may be late game. This will give you a little bit of a heads up as to, all right, they're coming towards me, or I'm getting closer to them, as denoted on the minimap. So it lets you know the general location. It can be a helpful tool to help you decide what you want to do in an engagement. And then in intel contracts, you'll end up getting zone peaks, which will allow you to see the next zone once the current zone is finished closing in. So you'll have the ability to set up for the next zone and be in sort of prime position if you take advantage of that as well. Next, I want to talk about one that you may not know because I had no idea until it happened to me. That being Semtex grenades and the situation where if you get stuck with one, you may not actually be downed immediately. From watching the clip back, you'll be seeing on screen right now just that of sheer amazement that I did not die from this a few dozen times. It seems like grenades may have the same damage properties as they do an MP, so when you double the health and sometimes even over double the health with that third armor plate added in, it's not going to finish off the player entirely and knock them, taking them out of the situation. It'll break your armor plates, sure, but it won't actually kill you, which is kind of interesting and something that may be very situational that you don't have to run into all that much, but it may not be cause for panic if you do get stuck with a grenade. Next, some perks that you may not think about actually have some specific designated changes, or I guess benefits for Warzone in particular. Kill chain increases your chance of finding kill streaks in supply boxes, which can save you a great deal of money if you say want to get a UAV, but you have a UAV in a box. Didn't cost you anything as opposed to the 4,000 that it would normally. Restock will recharge your equipment every 50 seconds. Hardline will give you 25% off kiosk prices for kill streaks, field upgrades, and armor plates. Point Man, all members on your team will earn more money from completed missions, and Tune-Up will reduce the revive time by 25% of whoever you're picking up. So that's stuff that is, of course, definitely beneficial, and you may not really consider, though, does it actually outclass things like Overkill, Cold-Blooded Tracker, EOD, Ghost, Battle Hardened, and the perks like that? Well, that's really all up to you, but they are some interesting things that, because they may not be the most used perks in loadout kits, they may be worthwhile to check out or at least test around for yourself to see if you like them. And actually talking about how one of those perks can help your revives, if you end up using a self-revive and then allow one of your teammates to come pick you up, it actually acts similarly to how it does in, say, the bomb for Search and Destroy and Cyber Attack. It allows players to pick them up quicker because the progress is already being made and counts towards that revive. So in theory, like you could walk away from a plant or a defuse, you can walk away from a self-revive and have a teammate finish it off with lesser time. So that's a cool little feature you may not know about. Then, perhaps considering what took you out, when we talk about headshots in Warzone, there's only a few select number of things that are actually one-shots. And kind of one of the reasons that is because the majority of weapons in Warzone are exactly the same headshot multipliers and damage properties as they are in MP. But given the fact that you can have upwards of 250 health with armor, you're not going to see any one-shots here with that. But the only weapons that actually do have different values for headshot multipliers are that of the HDR and the AX50 to allow them to have one-shots. So if you're wondering where other weapons stood, basically the exact same as MP minus those two. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the heartbeat sensor, which we did mention here in passing, but if you haven't seen any of the videos that we talked about here in the past, you may not know about this. The heartbeat sensor is actually one of the most overpowered things right now in Warzone. It allows players to see where players could be upwards of 40 meters in game, which is actually quite a big distance. The majority of players will show up as standard pings on the heartbeat sensor as if a UAV ping, because if they're not using a loadout drop, they won't have anything to counter it. So they're going to be right there in plain view for you to take out. But one thing that does actually counter this is that of Ghost, which may make it a little bit more viable for players if they don't want to take overkill. I mean, you can end up picking up other weapons and sacrificing that pistol, but it's really a matter of if you want two weapons that are fully kitted out how you like them versus just one. But Ghost is something that does counter heartbeat sensors as if it were a UAV, which does make sense, but that's the only hard counter to the heartbeat sensor as of now. Armor plates, talking a little bit about these, this is something a lot of players may not realize until, well, you might actually use up what seems like one extra armor plate. If you're, say, halfway through an armor plate and you try to go and replenish one, if you go from 1.5, it's not going to take you to 2.5 by adding another one. Instead, it's going to take you from 1.5 to 2. It fills out the current third bar, not adding the equivalent of one full one to the overall health of that. So you could end up essentially burning an armor plate if you're not really paying attention to how much you have and what you want to use it for. Just bear that in mind. Another thing you may not know about is the fact that if 3 players have a UAV and activate it all at the same time, or have 3 going at one point, meaning that if you buy 3 right after each other and activate them, you can end up activating an advanced UAV, which is pretty awesome, and it showcases, if the players don't have Ghost equipped, the direction the player is facing or heading, their real-time location, and all that for about 20 seconds. So it becomes incredibly helpful late game to know where absolutely everyone is. No one can be hidden from that. Next, let's talk a little bit about some drop strategies if you want to get around the map a little bit faster upon initial drop, or maybe jumping back in after you say win a gulag match where you're redeployed. You don't have quite the glide mechanics like you had in Blackout, so instead you'll have to cut your shoot and then pull it, and cut your shoot and then pull it once again to continue that process of getting a little bit more horizontal distance as compared to just simply dropping straight down. One other thing you can do that's pretty cool as of dropping in is when you do cut that shoot, you do pull out that pistol or whatever weapon you have equipped at the time. Perhaps you jump out of a helicopter, but you can actually shoot players out of midair before pulling your shoot once again. So you can, in theory, end up getting your first kill before you ever really even hit the ground in a match. So try that out if you want. The second and last thing we'll talk about here in this video deals with secret bunkers, phones, and laptops around the map. Right now, this looks to point towards some major Easter egg. There is, I think, 12 bunkers, a bunch of phones, and a bunch of laptops around that you can interact with. You have the ability to interact with it and to enter a key code, but you can't actually do any of that. It seems like right now we may as a community be stuck on trying to find out any sort of specific sequential order to do these in, if we're still missing some pieces, if they have to have some cross-pollination of some sorts with different items, say phone to bunker to laptop, or any sort of crazy number in between there. But it seems like there's something bigger afoot within the entire world of Warzone. And finally, the last thing we'll talk about deals with, well, Twitch drops. Things you can actually get for simply watching your favorite streamer in-game. There's a bunch of people doing this right now, and it goes until, I believe, the 18th of March, so that being this upcoming Wednesday, to which you can go over to a stream that says it has drops enabled, link up your Activision and Call of Duty account with your Twitch account, and then you should be credited by watch time. Every hour you'll get a new reward, the first being an emblem, the second being an XP token, and then the third being an MP7 exclusive variant. So you can check this out on most any channel in the Modern Warfare directory on Twitch, or if you want to come out, I stream on Twitch every so often as well, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we'll see, but that's some stuff here to round out our list of things you may not know about within Warzone. That said, that's where we're going to wrap it up, so I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Again, anything you'd add to this list, anything you really found absolutely cool out of this, whatever it is, feel free to let me know. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel, so if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.